So will AI increase your electrical bill? Guys, if you're like me, when you leave the house, you probably ask your kids to turn off the lights, make sure everything is turned off. You don't want to waste electricity. Imagine that every time you left the house, your kids turned on every light in the home. They flipped on the oven, the microwave. They turned up everything to its maximum energy consumption. Imagine that, but it's happening 24/7, 365. Guys, that is what's happening with AI in the electrical grid. Today, we're going to cover what's happening, why it's happening, how this is going to impact you immediately, and most of all, what you can do to save yourself hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars on electrical costs over the coming years. If you're into AI, how you can save money, how you can remain gainfully employed and provide for your family, this is the time to hit like and subscribe, guys. Well, thank you for doing that. Let's get into the video, okay? So, why is AI going to increase your electrical costs? I don't want to be hyperbolic. Guys, data centers are on the rise. Companies are spending hundreds of billions of dollars on these data centers. What is a data center? Well, basically it's a place where a bunch of computers get together to process AI information. That's kind of the basic version. It's a bunch of GPUs in these huge, massive, sprawling corporate warehouses. They require tons of cooling. They require tons and tons of electricity to work. And that is where your costs come into play. And you might say, Mark, well, I'm not running the data center. Why am I paying for the electricity? That's a good question. And we are going to cover that right now. Because what these data centers do is they put a massive amount of pressure on the supply grid. It's supply and demand. Okay, guys, it's that simple. It's supply and demand. These data centers are so power hungry, and they're competing and willing to pay for the power that you need to use to run your house, to run your business, to charge your Tesla, whatever. And what's great, what's amazing, is that the computing data centers are projected to have an insanely large amount of impact on your energy consumption moving forward. Right now, they take up about 8% of the commercial power, but it's anticipated to increase to 20% by 2050. Okay, data centers, guys, get this, could represent up to 21% of energy demand just by 2030. This is from MIT researchers and the International Energy Agency estimates. So you're talking about significant increases in the demand for data center energy usage. And listen, I love my computer. I actually love AI for a lot of different reasons. You may disagree with me there, but AI is really cool. But let's be clear. I don't want to be subsidizing Microsoft's cost of building a data center, or OpenAI or Meta. Like, you want to build a data center, you want to charge for these tools. Well, why do I have to pay for that? I'm not down with that. I got enough bills, guys. I got college education. I've got employees, I've got all these other different expenses. I don't want to be paying for your energy costs. These data centers use so much energy, guys. It's really insane. But look, it's really easy to speculate about where things will go. There's all kinds of crazy numbers of speculation. Heck, I don't think people can even understand what's going to happen in 1 year, let alone 20 years. But let's actually look at what's happening now with data centers and energy usage. Guys, nationally, the bills have risen at 6% year over year the last several years. And in high demand areas, the cost of electrical bills have increased 14%. In fact, there are some homes that have reported their bills increasing 50 to 80% in higher use places like Baltimore, New York, New Jersey. This is insane. There's a Bloomberg analysis of the US electricity markets, and they found that wholesale prices have surged by as much as 267% over the past 5 years in regions near data centers. Can you imagine that? Your electricity prices increased 267% because they built a data center near your house? That is nutso. That is so nuts. I know you guys don't love these videos about data centers, but I still feel compelled to cover them, because this is such this is so big, not just for the opportunities for you to solve problems, to generate more money, to grow your business, but it's also really important because these data centers fundamentally change the way that the power grid and infrastructure works for every man, woman, and child. I mean, look, you understand that, okay, during the summer my electrical bill is going to be higher, at least here in Florida because I have to run the air conditioning all the time. And you know, in other states up north, you might have higher electrical bills during the winter because you need to run the heater, okay? But can you imagine having that type of an increase times 10 because Microsoft builds a data center near your town? Doesn't sound like a good deal to me. Because what's happening is it's not just the energy usage that's increasing the cost, it's the socialized cost of building infrastructure. So it's not even just the energy, the supply and demand competition of the energy, it's building out the infrastructure. Because these data centers are not always built right next to a major city, right? You look at Meta's Hyperion built out in the middle of Louisiana. I recorded a whole video on Hyperion. It's pretty astounding. Guys, Meta's Hyperion is the size of Manhattan. It's built out in the middle of nowhere in Louisiana. Okay, and you might say, okay, well that won't affect me. Wrong-o, because these data centers are built away, they require new transmission lines to be constructed. In 2024, states paid over $4.4 billion to build out this infrastructure. You heard that right. You and me, the taxpayers, are building for the infrastructure to build out these huge tech data centers. That doesn't seem fair to me. I don't know about you, that doesn't seem fair to me. Like look, I want to spend money on assets. I want to spend money on things that generate more income for me. I want to spend time on things that give me a return on investment. I'm not getting any return on investment in Meta's Hyperion being built and $4.4 billion in transmission lines being set up. Does that make sense to you? Does that seem fair to you? I don't know. I don't want to be a hater over here, but I kind of have a problem with this. And this is certainly going to be much more impactful for people that live near the data centers. But the way that these data centers and electricity bills work is it's all spread out. It's all spread out, guys. The cost for everyone will increase. So that kind of led me down this rabbit hole of, okay, what can we do to fix this? I can see the problem, but what does that mean for me? And if you're new to the channel, thanks for subscribing, by the way. Make sure you check out my newsletter, AIupdate.ai. It's completely free. I'm sharing all the best stuff that I'm learning every week, AIupdate.ai. Sign up, I'll see you there, okay? But if you are new here, or even if you're not, you'll understand that I try not to focus on stuff that I can't control. I want to focus on stuff that I can control. You know, there's a lot of things happening in this world that that just happened. I can't control, you know, what Trump does in the White House. So I don't linger on it. I don't whine and complain about it. What can I do? I could tell my kids to turn off the lights, but turning off the lights ain't going to solve this problem of huge data centers guzzling up megawatts of energy and then charging me for it. What can I do? What can we do? So there's a few different things that can be done. And, you know, on the regulatory side, they have these things called use it or pay tariffs. And essentially what this does, this has been done in Ohio, is the data centers are required to pay for a certain amount of energy off the cuff, even if they use it or if they don't use the energy. And so basically they say, hey, we're gonna build a data center. We promise to pay X amount of the energy cost over this period of time. And if they use it, great. If they don't use it, great. It's already kind of like prepaid for, okay? You know, regulators need to be assigning these upgrade costs to these large users. You know, again, you want to build a giant data center in my backyard, we're not paying for the electrical grid upgrades, you pay for that. I think that's a no-brainer. You know, I'd vote for that for sure. You? I think so. Large utility scale batteries is another usage, because the way the energy costs work is, again, supply demand. There's going to be some times of day where energy is in a much higher need or a much higher usage, and sometimes it's not. So for example, if you're using a lot of solar, the solar, you know, the cost of energy will be lower during the day when the sun is being absorbed, higher at night when everyone's at home and there's no sun available. So these are some examples of where these large utility scale batteries come into play. They store during the low usage time, they release during the high usage time. And obviously we need more batteries. I mean, this is a kind of one of the big bugaboos, I think, with solar and renewable energies is how efficient are the batteries? The battery energy efficiency needs to be better. And if you know something that I don't, please put in the comments below. I love to see those comments. Helps me learn, helps the community learn. And if you leave something that's really, truly profound, something different than Mark, you're ugly, I will pin your comment, because we're here to learn, guys. We're here to learn. We're here to improve. We're here to remain relevant, respected, and financially free. We're here to learn so that we can provide for our families and stay, again, relevant in a really crazy time where a lot of men are going to fall behind, but not us, boys, not us. We're here to win it. The other thing that is being looked at or proposed is more in-home batteries. Tesla, GE, they're building these in-home batteries so that during the day it's storing energy, and then at night it can release the energy. This is a way of offsetting the increased costs during peak times. And one thing that I think has been kind of a bugaboo is nuclear energy. Nuclear energy to me is a no-brainer. I don't see why this wouldn't happen. There's already a couple dozen nuclear reactors in the United States. China's building nuclear reactors like crazy. But there are these small nuclear reactors. They're called, small modular reactors, or SMRs. And to me, this seems like a no-brainer. Basically, what these companies are going to do, you build a large data center, you're going to install an SMR or two near your data center to provide this really, really cheap, efficient, clean energy. There's no reason why this wouldn't happen. I mean, if you're checking stock picks, then that's definitely something to look at, companies that are building these, because I just see this type of thing blowing up. We're kind of in a time when energy is king, and I know people like to say, well, like, how much money do I have? It's how much energy do I have? And I don't see a reason why that would stop. Microsoft is already exploring pairing SMRs, these small modular reactors, with their data centers, and all the big companies are going to be doing this. Guys, now is the time to be looking for the opportunities. I'm telling you, the world is changing, and I've said this time and time again. Keep reinventing yourself. Keep looking for new opportunities. That's what I'm doing. That's what I think everyone should be doing, because the world is just changing way too fast. We can't predict the future. What we can do is try to wake up excited about each day and try to evolve and improve ourselves and find new opportunities, because they will be there. I refuse to believe that robots will take everybody's job and we're all going to be living in caves while the Terminator hunts us down. I just don't see that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's outside of my control. What is inside of my control now is making sure that I continue to learn skills, I continue to meet people, I continue to build, in my case, influence in my community, so that when opportunities present themselves, we can capitalize on those opportunities, so that we can feed our families, so we can remain relevant, respected, financially free. 3 things that every single man needs, and we are going to get it. We're going to get it, boys. So find your opportunities. And along that note, if you enjoyed today's video, again, thanks for liking, subscribing, all that stuff. I think you're really going to like yesterday's video. I get a lot of hate comments on these posts. I get hundreds of positive comments. F the haters, guys. F the haters. Focus on what we can control. Focus on doing. And that's what it is. That's what it is, boys. I'll see you there. Check out yesterday's video. It's right here. You're going to love it. All right. See you, boys. Peace.